So I'm feeling like we're getting close to patch 1.7. Kind of getting just bummed with this patch right now. The meta has really settled in, and everyone's kind of playing the same thing. Just that Ringo jungle and those same carries over and over again. So it's kind of getting stale. So I'm ready for patch 1.7, and it's been tough out there on the fold this weekend. We had the triple glory weekend, which was fantastic, and got a whole bunch of glory on my account. But man, rank Q has been rough. I've been dropping. People have been pinging and spamming, and yeah, it's been rough. But you know what? I'm still playing. Getting out there. You know, hold my head high. It's fun. I'm getting pumped. I think we might see Sky. There's rumors that she might be in 1.7, and I have faith that Super Evil's gonna, not let us down. They're gonna give it to us. They don't want to just give us a patch just with cards. No, give us the one with the hero. Let's do it. Let's jump into this week's episode. I got RumblySuperset here.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about Vainglory.
This is the 38th episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, I try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And just like every week, I'm having other people from the community to come on and talk about the news, because who wants to just listen to me every week? That would get boring. This time, I have RumblySuperset on.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
To the video, and I think it's very appropriate we're doing video now and having you on, because You're the YouTuber extraordinaire for Vainglory. But if people don't know that, do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? Why should they know you?
I'm RumblySuperset. Obviously, like you said, I am the Vainglory YouTuber. I think I'm the largest as of right now. All thanks to, of course, the company itself, because they created such an amazing game, and I felt like I had this inclination that I definitely had to explore Vainglory, and so I did, and it just exploded, and now I'm at like 20,000 subscribers, and it's insanely right now. But yeah, it's basically who I am. I just do YouTube. I do a little bit of streaming here and there, and I kind of told Brad that I'm coming back to Twitch too. So
right, so you were. I guess I'll come back to YouTube in a minute, but you were streaming on Twitch at one point, right? And then you kind of switched over to Mob Crush, right?
Right.
You're wearing the shirt now, so yeah. I have to mention.
Yeah, I'm still doing Mob Crush, but I know Vainglory themselves asked me personally, like, would you mind coming back to Twitch? And I was like, I mean, if you guys are coming to me telling me to do Twitch, then I might as well. I mean,
okay.
I can't just say no to that. So I was like, well, I know a lot of people are asking for it from the community and as well as the company itself. So I was like, I think it's time I come back to Twitch.
Are you going to also do Mob Crush too, or now it's like too many things? Are you going to kind of one streaming service and then the YouTube, or?
I'll be doing both, yeah.
Doing both, okay. How do you like streaming on Mob Crush? I feel like we've recently seen this influence of people going to Mob Crush and Camcord as well as Twitch.
Right. I love the thing. The reason why I like Mob Crush is because the fact that with Twitch, it's more centered for PC gaming and console gaming.
Yeah.
And the mobile sector doesn't really have a huge relevance there. And so Mob Crush kind of brings that to the table. It's solely just for mobile. And the good thing is a lot of people who have these Apple devices or Android devices, they don't have the equipment to stream. Say, like on Twitch, you need a computer.
Right.
And for me, actually, from my experience, you need like a fairly good computer to stream effectively on Twitch.
Yeah, the compression settings to get that to go up there, it's pretty heavy.
Exactly. So what Mob Crush does is they allow you to stream natively on the iPad alone. And so that's like one big step for the platform, is to be able to stream directly from the device without the need of a computer.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I haven't tried that out. I've got the desktop version of the app where you plug it in and then you have your settings, but there is like a separate app just for streaming right up to it?
Right now it's in beta.
Okay.
And also the only option to do it is to be jailbroken for now.
Okay.
But there are rumors that, Apple's bringing out their own way to record and stream videos through their platform itself.
Okay.
So I think possibly they're going to be taking advantage of that. I don't know if it's for sure, but that's the rumor I hear. So eventually you won't even require a jailbreak. But I mean, there are options too.
So they came to you and gave you this beta version of it, or did you jailbreak your phone in order to stream it up there?
I jailbroke my device to stream, but actually, like, I was just on Twitter one day, and I saw someone post something about Mob Crash. I'm like, what is that? And so I looked at it. I was like, oh, it's like Twitch. And I was like, oh, but it's only a mobile game. Okay, that's cool. And so I went to someone's like stream, and they're like, hey, are you the RumblySuperset Vainglory? I was like, oh god, here we go. And I was like, yeah, I'm just hanging out, you know. And eventually, one of the devs saw me, and he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I was like, okay. It's just like, can you verify who you are? I mean, here's my email, like, let's talk, and we'll see if you're the real deal. And yeah, it was Mob Crush, and they started working with me and telling me this is what they're planning on doing, why they're doing it, and they would love to have me. And so I came on board.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I tried it out last night for a little while. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it is easy to get going.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of excited what they do in the future to like let you move the camera, because right now it's just kind of like that's where it is.
Yeah, it's right in that place. Yeah, you can't move it. Yeah.
But then, yeah, for YouTube, were you doing YouTube before, or YouTube videos before? I'm sure you were on YouTube, but were you like making game videos?
Before Vainglory, yeah. I was I had original channel, just RumblySuperset, and I did like just general gaming for mobile devices. So like, I don't know, Order and Chaos and a bunch of other games that were out and that were relevant during the time. So I was doing that, and then I kind of refocused that channel towards another MOBA that was before Vainglory, before Vainglory was even like a word, and it was called Heroes of Order and Chaos.
Okay.
And so it's an okay game, but there's just no other options on the device. So I kind of played that, and that's what I focused on. That's what I grew my channel on. But then Vainglory came out, and I was just like, holy moly, this is like League of Legends on the iPad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta do something about this. I was like, I gotta make a channel because it's an amazing game, and that's, like I said, that's where I started the new channel, and that's where it just took off.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, like you said, you've been growing it nonstop. You usually have a video in the news section like all the time, either on like a off meta build. Is that one of your things, right? Like playing off the meta?
Yeah, it's usually like the highlights, and then those builds that are in the highlights kind of vary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. And so I guess, are you usually streaming these when you do them, or are you like recording them later? And,
most of my YouTube videos are pre-recorded. I don't really like do the live streams and then like take that video footage.
Okay.
There's like a separate series I do from time to time where I do stream, and like people want me to post a certain segment of that stream, and I'll do that. But for the most part, they're all pre-recorded.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely include a link in the show notes for anyone that should be checking it out. They should go there and watch some of the videos. I think the most recent one I saw was you and Fuji was on your team, and you're going against DeGeneres. So.
I was so happy about that. I was like, oh, thank God Fuji's on my team.
Could have gone the other way.
Well, when I first got into PoA, my first introduction to PoA was against Fuji and Iraqi Zoro.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm probably going to lose. And yeah, I definitely lost. I don't even think I stepped past that first set of minions in the jungle.
Okay. Yeah,
they kept me basically at the base.
No, yeah, they know how to just push that advantage. But you made it when you like get in there and you're like, oh, all right, I'm facing them. I'm like up there enough that like,
yeah.
All right. I guess it's a good it's a pat on the back, but also like just like, I know I can't beat him yet. I'm not that good.
I'll get there one day.
Yeah. Well, should we jump into the news?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Let's do it.
Vainglory News.
So first thing in the news, this came out, I think it was Wednesday, because we talked about it on the Undersprawl, but the Catherine Tier 2 skin.
Right.
This looks ridiculous. Have you gotten a chance to see this over the course of the week?
I did, yeah. It looks amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of curious on how it's going to look in-game. I didn't really get to see too much of it in-game. Did you actually get to see the footage?
I feel like I missed the game footage. Did they mention that there was game footage, or was there not game footage? I don't know.
I don't remember. I just remember seeing it on Twitter. The Tier 2 skin from Catherine. I was just like, oh man, I'm definitely going to be picking that up as soon as it comes out. They even showed the tier 3 as
Tier
well.
3, yeah, that's right. Oh, so yeah, we had tier 2 in game, and then the splash art for tier 3,
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, tier 2 looks pretty awesome, and then tier 3, that skin when it got shared on Twitter, like people were
Right.
like, "Oh, who's this? Is this the new champion?" Like that's how crazy different she looks.
Yeah, it looks like just a metallic Medusa, basically.
Right, super evil, and like who knows? I'm interested to hear the story that Sugar Venom puts together, like how
Right.
this Catherine came to be.
Yeah, the lore is amazing for Super Megacorp. I love
Yeah,
it.
and that each skin has its like own story that goes
Hmm.
along with it. Like that's really fun and exciting because that's not something another game does. Like
Right.
why is this hero pajama party blah blah blah? And it's like just because it's funny. But to have that whole backstory is neat. So it'd be cool to hear that tier 3 Catherine skin, why
Mm.
it's all burning and what devastation did she bring to the
Right.
world.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
I have a feeling we'll see that tier 3 in this 1.7 patch. Like she'll probably be part of that collection.
That seems to be the routine. They announce a bunch of skins, the hero, and then the update is generally what it has those items that consist of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that we got on the Friday live stream, which everyone should be watching, it kicks off around 4 p.m. Central. And it's a great little 2-hour stream where they reveal stuff, do matches, you can win ice. But they showed off this card crafting system. So what this is a way to get rid of all your excess cards. If you're someone who has a ton of Ear of Minions, unlike me, I have like no Ear of Minions, but if you have a lot and you want to get rid of them, you can basically disenchant them, and then you can get essence, and then you can use that
Hmm.
essence to craft a new card if you want, after you build up enough.
Yeah, it seems like you get like 1/4 the value.
Right.
Yeah, so it's definitely not one for one trade, but at least you have some option to use those cards that are duplicates that you won't ever need again.
So do you feel like this is probably something people want because we do have a lot of excess cards. As you play more, you
Mm.
get card drops. You don't need another legendary Ringo card if you have the tier 3 skin, so you
Right.
might as well get rid of it. But do we add like another currency into this game that's like, oh my gosh?
I guess they are in
Yeah.
the essence. So I think it's fine the way they're doing it
Hmm.
because it doesn't really incorporate too much more into the game. It's just that one currency for that one particular option for the cards, And so I think it's more valuable that they actually did something to where you can actually exchange those cards that are useless rather than just leave it and you just hold it on forever, hold it forever, and ever
Right.
for no purpose at all.
Do you think it might have been easier or even less confusing if you could just burn them or disenchant them and get glory and then use glory to make a new
Okay.
card? Like rather than having this whole other essence thing.
Well, I think the thing is that they want to separate the fact that you can play matches and earn glory, and then you can just take all that glory that you earn and throw it into these cards here to get the ones that you want. And what that does is, I think, is because it splits your money that you earn into like so many different options now: heroes, skins, and now these cards to get the skins, and eventually
Yeah.
it feels like your money is less and less effective.
Right.
And so adding that new currency, I think, kind of separates that to say, hey, your glory is still valuable,
Okay.
but then you still have the essence to kind of, direct you towards, getting your cards.
That's a good point. I would love if they give everyone like an active account, like a bunch of essence to start in
Hmm.
this 1.7 patch, just so we can all try it. So we don't have to be like, all right, let me disenchant a card and see how this works. Like, here's
Right.
500 essence for all like level 5 accounts or
Uh-huh.
something like that. So it's not like on brand new accounts. Just if you've been playing,
Mm.
here's a reward, new currency, try it out. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm throwing it out there to maybe make it happen.
Or maybe like they can do something where how you have the rewards for like your third win of the day, 7 wins, for 7 days, or a win for 7 days, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you do something similar to where you earn essence for certain, objectives, certain quests, where you've won X amount of games in a row with a particular hero, and then you get essence for that.
Right. Because,
Things like that.
yeah, do you play Hearthstone at all?
I do, yeah.
So yeah, like you get dust. So in like arena, if you play arena mode, you get like
Right.
dust sometimes, which dust can get you new cards. So yeah, that'd be kind of neat if we did get that extra reward. Maybe it's in ranked games. Maybe if you're playing ranked, you get some little bit of essence every now and then.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But those were like our two big reveals so far for 1.7. Have you seen anything else? Or do you have any predictions for 1.7 so far?
I mean, obviously, we probably can think Sky is coming.
Yeah, all right. You think
I
she's
wouldn't.
coming now?
I wouldn't think that they would like announce her and not release her because then that would cause an uproar.
Okay.
Because everybody's already excited and like, oh, okay, well the update's here, but where's Sky? You
Then
know?
they'll be sad and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm quitting Vainglory. Yeah.
Just give us the new champion. That's a good point. I was kind of on the fence thinking like 1.7 might be a non-hero patch, like this is cleaning stuff up, giving you more
Right.
skins. But, they want to keep the game rolling. And they just got all those new Android people and maybe they don't want to be
Right.
like, here's an update with nothing in it. Like, here's these expensive skins you can't get as a new player and
Yeah.
no new hero.
Well, what I'm kind of curious is like when they're gonna release that goat hero. That look pretty freaking awesome. I mean, I really wanted to have that in my arsenal, but they didn't release it, so I was kind of sad.
Still pushing for the goat hero. All right, maybe give us a Kraken skin and turn into a goat at some point, like
Well,
on
that'd be
April Fool's
interesting.
Day next time.
Yeah, for sure.
But we did get the tease also that like Scarf is going to be stronger, as well as
Okay.
some changes to Petal. I'm not excited about Scarf being stronger. I don't know. I'm just a little worrisome.
I kind of feel like he's in a good place right now. Like he's a lot stronger than he was for the previous update because that pierce where he didn't really do the full damage of the Spitfire kind of hurt him in terms of damage output.
Yeah.
Now they kind of fixed that this update. The only issue I find with both Scarf and Petal, more so Petal, is the mobility because they really don't have an escape. Scarf kind of has a slow, which kind of helps them, but Petal has no escape.
Yeah.
And so she's forced to fight, for people who are really highly mobile. And she really can't go toe-to-toe with people that mobile a lot of the time, so...
Right. Yeah, she does have a slow if you pop your seeds when they're on top of her.
Oh, I didn't know that. It actually does slow?
Yeah, it does do a little bit of slow, but like if she's going against someone like Vox, who's
How
just
reliable is that? I mean,
jumpy, yeah, it's really hard to get. It's like
Yeah.
almost one of those things like you can catch people in a bush kind of
Yeah.
idea, but
Okay.
it's not really something that people will think about, I guess.
Right. Well, like, what I was kind of thinking, because I actually sat down and thought about how they can fix Petal, or at least do something to address her lack of mobility, is, like, I would say that they can do something where they would plant the seed, and instead of, like, sitting on top of the seed, you get the health.
Yeah.
Say if you're on the outside of the seed, you get that same health regen, but if you're on top for X amount of time, like, it blooms, and you get, like, a kind of burst of heal.
Oh, okay.
So in like dire situations, if you sit on that seed, if you drop a seed and you sit on it for like 2 seconds, it'll bloom. It's not a huge amount, but you can drop multiple seeds and then have them all bloom, and then you just get a bunch of health. And it
Right.
allows you to survive those highly mobile attacks.
Yeah, so she becomes almost a little more as a healer too, like giving that
Right.
extra ability. Because you'll see a team sit on a bunch of petal seeds sometimes, and like, all right, everyone, huddle up.
Well, I think that the heal will be like just a self heal.
Oh, just a self. You couldn't heal
the
allies.
regens, everybody. Yeah.
Okay. That'd be pretty neat. But yeah, we might see some pedal changes and Scarf and maybe some Saw tweaks. I don't know about Saw either. Like, I feel like he's in a pretty solid place. I think Z
Really?
any tweak to him and he's like too strong. Like,
Huh.
you think he needs some work?
I think there's a perfect solution to it.
Okay.
Allow
Yeah.
a player to deactivate suppressing fire.
Okay.
That's all, because that's what puts him in a vulnerable spot most of the time, is because he's stuck in that suppressing fire, and to be able to deactivate it at will would be really nice, so you can do your roadie run and escape.
Okay.
Because his mobility's there.
Right.
It's just the
with the roadie
suppressing fire that locks him down.
run. Okay.
So that's what I think they should do.
All right. I know we've been seeing a lot of those support saws like every now and then. I've tried it once and it did not go well for me.
Yeah, I did a video, and I just say I did like 10 videos, and only one went up.
Okay. It was that rough.
It was rough, yeah.
For anyone that's done support saw, I'd love to hear like how it went because I really just got focused as support saw,
Right.
and then my team didn't have enough damage to back me up. Like I'd die pretty quickly. You didn't have like that
Right.
heal and if you missed your suppressing fire, like Vox jumped over it or something, and you're like, I'm standing here and now I'm dead, even though I'm the tank.
Yeah, and you don't have any hard CC, so it'd be kind of hard to really control fights other than slow.
But it's fun. Excited to see what 1.7 holds. I think we're real close to it because I'm at that point where the game is not becoming stale, but it's the same team comps and everyone's kind
Mm-hmm.
of doing the same things.
Right.
Everything's trickled down from the high tiers, and just everyone knows all the tricks and what we should do right now to win the game.
Right. I think that's pretty normal for any MOBA though, because I play a lot of League of Legends back in the day, and I would notice a lot of the same heroes were used and the same heroes weren't used. That kind of thing. That the meta just falls into place, and people just go with the meta because that's what's best.
Right.
And then meta changes as each update comes out, and so therefore the comps kind of change a bit and shift. But I think that's pretty normal.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the other bit of news, which I think is affecting this meta right now, is the Worlds tournament that's happening.
Yeah, everybody wants to do what they do.
Right. So we had the latest match was Gangstars versus blanking on the team right now. Then not
I
Invincible.
actually haven't even watched most of it yet. I need to watch that.
Okay. Then I won't spoil it for you, but one of the games they ran Ringo Jungle. And
Okay.
now, and I think this even happened in the Invincible Armada versus Unknown O game as well. They had a Ringo Jungle. And now Ringo Jungle is now like a common thing.
Yeah, it's acceptable now.
Right. And so
Because they did it, now you can do it.
yeah. So we have that, like you said, that meta is just filtering down to everyone else.
Right.
And like there's those times where you didn't have to, if you picked Ringo, everyone knew you were going lane. You didn't have to say which you were going, and now everyone's like, which one are you doing? It's like, oh, really, man? All right.
Yeah. One particular hero that I think is pretty good for jungle or lane even, well, more so jungle, is CP Arden. It's really underestimated.
Oh,
I
okay.
think. I don't know if you saw any of the videos I put out for that, but it's the utility of him is like super useful for his team because he can split, and then also just the damage output from the CP is just amazing. Yeah.
Oh, really? I usually just go full tank Arden
Yeah,
if I'm
that's
playing
pretty normal.
Arden. Have you done any hybrid stuff where you do like the tank CP?
Like an aftershock tank.
Yeah.
Things like that. I've messed with that, and I think just going straight tank is better if you're just doing like majority of tank build.
Uh-huh.
But if you're going like the damage dealer in the jungle, like I think if people let you, if you
Right,
have to
yeah.
you have to trick them. Oh, I'm going cruel. This is a lock in Arden.
Arden. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's something that's like fun. I don't know if it's like entirely viable, but I've done it in POA, and I've won like probably 90% of the matches with that particular build. So
Wow. That's cool. I have noticed a lot more Ardens being played, and that's also maybe because of Worlds, but maybe it's because Catherine is
stun bug.
is
Oh
like super bad right now. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. I can't even play her without just cringing every time.
Yeah, it's either you'll do your stun and you just stand there, or you have this random like insane burst of speed and then you run up to the guy and you don't do anything. It's like cool.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's something to do with the actual game or the server, like the going back to it and not being able to like register like you clicked and unclicked or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I thought they said they were gonna fix it and they addressed it, but I guess it just came back. I don't know, because I remember one of the updates you were saying that, oh, we took the time to release a fix for the stun bug and the shank bug for Saw.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, sweet. So I started playing Catherine again, and it was fixed. But then I would have like these random moments again where like it would start happening, and then eventually it started happening more and more and more. I don't know why it would start to get worse, but
Yeah, it's real. It seems worse when another animation goes off, like
okay.
a mine or a Dagio fire, or like just when there's too many effects happening. It's like, oh, I tried to stun Jewel out of that alt, and
Yeah.
it's done, but now she's stunned. I don't know.
Maybe too many particle effects and it
Yeah.
causes like lag in the game.
So I have been seeing more Ardens, which is kind of interesting. I'm not a huge Arden fan, but
Right.
but I might have to try that CP Arden. That'd be cool. But I would recommend watching these Worlds games if you have a free time anytime this Sunday, because I think the next ones are happening, I think tonight / early
Okay.
Monday morning.
How many games have taken place so far?
So we've had 2 matches. So we had one on Monday and one on Thursday. And so 4 teams have played. We'll have the last set of teams play today or on Monday, which is Fusion and the Brothers, the Chinese team.
Okay.
Okay. So that's Fuji's team versus the Chinese team.
Oh man. Yeah.
So that should be fun to see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
But the World seems to be running. It should run for about 2 more weeks, I think. And Super Evil's been showing them off on their live streams on Wednesdays and Fridays. Just kind of, it's extra content for them. They can shoutcast it, kind of give their analysis of what they think the gameplay is and ideas for it. So that's probably why we're seeing this meta filter down. Everyone's watching these games 2, 3 times just because, they happen to be on each stream and they're talked about. So why not?
It's the same concept of when like ESL happened. Everybody just basically did the ESL comps, and that's all you saw after that point. It was just like Vox, and I forgot the others, but I think Vox is pretty prevalent in those matches. So
Right. Yeah.
oh, and CP Jewel.
CP Jewel, Vox, CP Jewel, and Catherine or Adagio.
Yeah. And then before that was like Scarf. I don't know, the tank Scarf.
But we'll get a whole new shift with 1.7, and if we get a new hero, if Sky's in there, it'd change even more. That'd be fun.
Right.
That's all for the news, but I found some good forum static, which I think kind of bleeds into our news segment a little bit.
Forum static.
So on the forums, I found basically a whole bunch of posts about people just not complaining about support heroes, but just like, I guess soapboxing, like just like what it means to be a support, and like, hey guys, we're here too. Like, don't get mad at us. Right now, everyone seems to lock in these carries, especially in casual mode. Everyone wants to get those kills. They want to be like the superstar, and you need the support / tank on your team. Like, the game does not work with 3 like just damage dealers.
Right. Well, see, the difference is like, so for like League of Legends, it's like a 5v5 match, whereas Vainglory is a 3v3. So one person doing bad is a higher percentage of your damage or utility in the team.
Yeah.
So it's like 33% of your team. Whereas it's a lot. That's a huge percentage. Whereas in
true.
League of Legends, it's far less. So one person being bad, the other 4 can make up for a lot of that percentage that they lost in terms of damage or utility.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing about Vainglory.
And then, so on this topic, you were playing Arden CP, but that's not really support role. Do you play a lot of support? Like, what's your main role you find yourself in when you play?
Before I hit POA, I did do a lot of Catherine until like the stun bug started, getting to me. And then I kind of switched over to Glaive, actually, tank Glaive, which is awkwardly has kind of fallen out of relevance.
Yeah.
Like, people don't really do that anymore. And so I kind of, after like Catherine had the stun bug and then Glaive kind of fell out of relevance, I just switched over to either jungle or lane for the most part.
Okay, you just don't want to mess with support anymore. Like,
well, I would love to do Catherine, but that's the one I like to play the most. But that stun bug just kind of messes up team fights here and there, and it really changes the game and how it's going to pan out, and it really rubs me the wrong way.
Okay.
In really critical moments,
But I guess so. You've played enough support that like if maybe how the support should build, or like if the supports do something wrong to not necessarily, or not even wrong, just like they weren't there for you, or like, hey, that fountain might have been on cooldown. Like, you don't have to blame them because they weren't there to heal you. Like, maybe you shouldn't have been in that fight. Maybe you shouldn't have leapt forward as Vox. Maybe you should have leapt back.
Yeah, well, the biggest issue is people don't understand that you need to let the tank lead.
Yeah.
They are the ones who make the decisions because they're the ones who are going to take all the damage and control the fights. So they need to be able to be the first ones to put their feet in and basically dictate how this fight's going to start off.
Uh-huh.
And people tend to just lead as a lane, Ringo, whatever, or Vox, and they just get decimated. And then they're like, oh, they paint a tank. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Why
And
were you
it's
behind me? It's like, well,
why weren't you letting me do my job?
yeah. You ran in, and I was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't fight because, we lost the last 3 fights.
Right.
So I think we should wait. Like, I don't know.
But the thing is, too, is like with the tank on the other end is the tank actually has a lot more responsibility and need for knowledge of how to handle heroes, because they're the ones who counterbuild the most in terms of like the enemy team comp. So, for instance, like Breaking Point Cruel is like a nuisance for a lot of players because they don't know how to handle them. Well, it's really the tank's job, for the most part, to get that Atlas Pauldron, slow that attack speed, get those, if they have stuns on their team, get those crucibles. They need to get selfless items, not items that just benefit themselves, like in Ages, but selfless items like Crucible, Renewal, Atlas Pauldron, things that affect the entire enemy team, or your team for that matter.
Right, because the laner or even the jungle carry, they're probably building one defense item, and that's either going to be a Crucible or a Fountain of Renewal. Like, that's just what they end up building. They're not likely to build the Atlas or the Metal Jacket even. So.
Yeah. The only time I would say they build an Atlas is if there's a Cruel and he's getting fed, then people generally pick up Atlas.
Okay, that's a good point. That people know at this point, like, hey, Cruel, I need an Atlas. Like, it's become like common knowledge now. But then, as a support as well, in this forum, people are like giving advice and just thoughts on being a support hero and the selfless acts, like you said, these items. And it's a great read, especially if you're a support player, and things to think about. You just need to be there and back up your team, even if, like you said, they're running in there. That Ringo's going in first. It's like just run in there, try to like get ahead of him, be like, all right, I'm gonna follow your dumbass, and we'll go in here. You're going to get mad at me anyway if we die because I didn't go in. So let's just go in, and then I'll be there, and I'll pray. I'll hope for the best here that you're going to do your job if I do my job.
Right, exactly.
Man, being support, it's tough sometimes. And if you're the last man standing and you're the support, it's just like, all right, guys, I guess I'll get a camp while I wait for you to spawn because it takes me 30 minutes to clear one camp.
Another thing too, which I don't know, this happens a lot to me, is where people tend to focus the wrong people for the enemy team. Like, you want to focus like the damage dealer, the guy who's getting fed, because you need to take him out. But then you just take out their damage once you do that. And so the tank's job is basically to focus that guy, and then your team would follow up. If you're Catherine, you would go and stun that guy, and your team would follow up and just take him down. Yeah. And then as Catherine, you would silence as well during that team fight. But I mean, that's one of the things that people fail to do, is to react to certain team comps and who's fed, and handle that appropriately.
Right. Yeah. Pay attention. Follow your support. All right. Some good advice there. If you are a support player or have advice for support players, send either one of us a tweet or a message, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Last bit of thing before we get out of here, segment I haven't done in a while, but a random item.
Random item.
So in the random item segment, just pick an item from Vainglory and kind of chat about it. And we were just talking about selfless items. Let's talk about a very selfish item, the metal jacket. So the metal jacket is like the Atlas, where it blocks weapon damage, but it doesn't have that AoE ability where it slows attack speed.
Right. It's
really just a huge armor for yourself. Do you ever get this item?
No, never. I think it's very, very situational. Like, it's really depending on your enemy team's build. So if they don't get a breaking point, and you already have Atlas on your team, and that guy who has weapon power is getting fed, you can pick up a metal jacket and be fine with that if you're like a laner or a jungler. because I mean you're just gonna be mitigating a lot of that weapon power damage, especially if he doesn't have a bone saw.
Yeah.
Because he won't burn through your armor, and you'll just like absorb a lot of that and not take as much damage. And so that's beneficial in that way. But I just feel like Atlas Poison does a better job because of that attack speed reduction. I mean, it's still the same concept. It's like sort of. It's like you're not taking as much damage, even though you have less armor. You're reducing that amount of damage that can be outputted within X amount of time. So I mean, essentially, it's like almost the same thing.
Right, and you're helping your team because if
Right.
your team can now jump on them and attack them, or they can't attack the other members of your team as quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if the other team already has a bone saw, it's just going to rip through that metal jacket anyway, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Do you think there's anything Super Evil could do to make the metal jacket better? Like, I hate making another activatable item. Like, I think we do need items like Aegis, or Aegis is activatable, but metal jacket and other ones just kind of are there. They're good for, they just block damage. But could we have like an aura or something around it that gives your team like if you were to get it, everyone in this little aura gets increased armor, like +5 armor, or more than that even.
I don't know. I guess like maybe something where based on how many enemies are near you or how many allies are near you, it would get an increase in armor, maybe armor and shields.
Okay, like it stacks.
Yeah, but it's based on like how big the fight is going. How big the fight is, how many players are there in that particular area. But then I don't know. I feel like that would get a little overpowered though if it stacks that much and it gets insanely effective and you don't do any damage to that guy anymore.
Right. Well, it is an expensive item, and at the moment, it's an item that you don't usually build. You're not building first, and sometimes it's a second, third item if you were to even build it at all. I'm sure it's an item that Super Evil is looking at because it's not bought very often.
Right.
And there should be a reason to get every defense item and like a counter to it and like a need for it.
They might be able to do something like a small percentage of the damage done would be like reflected back.
Oh, kind of like a
thorns or something.
Thorn mail in League of Legends, yeah.
Right. So something like that. Nothing like too dramatic, but just enough to kind of get their attention. Like, oh, okay, this guy has a metal jacket. I have to be careful how I approach this guy. That kind of thing.
Okay. Thornmail would be fun, especially with everyone been going weapon power. It's either double crystal or double weapon right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If everyone had basically a Catherine bubble kind of thing that just did damage back to them, that'd be kind of interesting.
Right. So it wouldn't be an activated effect. It'd just be a passive. So
Yeah.
less work for the player.
That could be really neat. But yeah, metal jacket. I was in a game earlier today, and I did see a Cruel with the breaking point. He built a metal jacket, and that made sense. Like he's going to be in there. I'm sure he probably could have did better with the Atlas, but I think he was kind of. Most Cruels are a little selfish players, so they're like, "Oh, I'm just going in. I'm doing my thing. I'm Cruel. I'm gonna lifesteal up."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I tend to go like the Atlas or Renewal, but I definitely see the Cruels who go the selfish items for sure. But like they think they're the team, and then so they just rush in without the tank, thinking they can just heal up through their smite.
Do it, yeah. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you just gotta trust a Cruel and be like, all right, man, it's your time to shine. I'll let you do your thing.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, awesome. That's all I have for episode 38. RumblySuperset, thanks for joining me on this episode. This was fantastic.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Again, where can people find you on Twitter, Twitch, Mob Crush, all that stuff? Is it all the same? YouTube?
It should just be search for like RumblySuperset. I mean, for RumblySuperset on YouTube would be the first one is Vainglory for my channel.
Okay.
And then Twitter, it's all RumblySuperset. Facebook, RumblySuperset.
Cool.
Basically, you can find me.
And when you're coming back to Twitch, are you going to have a schedule, or is it going to be kind of a when you can kind of thing?
My schedule is kind of different because my wife works 1 week on, 1 week off, so I have to like adjust with that.
Okay.
So for the time being, when I come back, which will be this week actually, later on this week.
Nice.
It's going to be kind of sporadic when it happens, so I'll just be announcing that on my Twitter. It's like, hey guys, I'm going live in an hour or whatever.
Okay.
Just like a brief notice of before the stream starts. So if you want to know, just follow me on Twitter, and then that'll be the best way of finding out when I'm streaming.
Awesome. Man, everyone should do that. And then while you're there, you should definitely follow Shatter the Vein as well, at Shatter the Vein. The website is shatterthevein.com. All the episodes get posted there. Links to iTunes, the YouTube videos there. Been doing videos now. Didn't stream this week, so, having some streamers have been having issues with DDoSing, so I'm kind of laying low right now, making sure we get the episode out for everyone without any hiccups. But we might be back to streaming them in the future. And then the Facebook page is facebook.com/shatterthevein. And yeah, I usually post like news articles, images. Been trying to post more videos too, so as well, follow your footsteps on YouTube, some gameplay videos. Definitely look for those as well. But that'll do it for episode 38. Thanks for listening. Take care.